The goal of part 1 was to present a general character sketch of these two, showing their respective alter egos with their pedestrian counterparts. Now comes the sticky part, digging into the 4 dimensions of their love square. Start with the fundamental idea Ladybug is Marinette bringing her A-game, and Chat Noir is, more or less, Adrien playing out his take on an ideal adventure hero. Another key note here is that Chat Noir steers a major part of romantic interactions for Ladynoir. In just about any given scene when Chat is mooning over Ladybug, his facial expression or dialogue just screams, "This is my dream girl!" He adores her confidence, her quick thinking, and above all else, her solid dedication to her heroics. Look at the scene in Secret Origins where Ladybug promises to do whatever it takes to protect Paris from Hawkmoth. Right after her speech, Chat looks up at her with shining eyes and declares that he's in love with this girl. In general, Chat is a really nice guy who cares about helping others and checking on their welfare. Part of why Adrien takes so enthusiastically to being a superhero stems from this desire. He can do so much more than he could otherwise with his enhanced flexibility, reflexes, and destruction powers. Ladybug's speech was pretty much the unspoken vow he took as soon as he put on his ring for the first time. What's interesting is that Chat is so keen on appealing to Ladybug as the ornery, charming rogue. He earnestly believes that Chat Noir is clever and endearing, a master flirt with irresistible charms. He'll win over Ladybug with his sharp wit and personality, right? It's kind of funny to think of how differently Chat comes across when compared to how he perceives himself. No, Chat, you're not a smooth operator. You're the guy who cracks bad puns, would gladly belt out the 60s Batman theme, and stuff french fries in his mouth in an attempt to be a walrus. Whenever he makes a move, Ladybug laughs along and defers his advances. To her, he comes across as a shameless flirt that makes moves on every other pretty girl he sees, and an unabashed goofball. But he's a reliable partner, ready to step in and play his needed part. He's a good friend. Someone she teases, someone that acts as a soundboard for brainstorming or setting up plans with, and someone to banter back and forth with. She's not really hung up on figuring out who Chat Noir really is. Actually, she encourages keeping the secret, perhaps to the effect of keeping her life as Marinette as separate from her Ladybug exploits as reasonably possible. In stark contrast, Chat Noir pines to figure out who Ladybug is. It keeps him up at night to the tune of Pentatonic's Can't Sleep Love. No more romantic daydreams. He is ready for a possible romance in real time. A certain scene near the end of the episode Volpina hinted at Chat Noir mulling over Ladybug's obvious crush on Adrien. He was genuinely disappointed. Yes, the love of his life returns his feelings, but she harbors said feelings for the wrong side of him, or rather, the more grounded and restrained side of his personality. And it's going to be interesting to see how Chat mulls over the question, will Ladybug accept me for who I am? Start with the umbrella scene. Adrien really let his guard down, and Marinette caught a glimpse of a very vulnerable side of him. The side that wants to reach out to others, make new friends, and experience the world. He speaks so genuinely and honestly, he captures Marinette's full attention. Combine that with his looks, and Marinette starts painting a very attractive picture of Adrien as this incredibly sweet, kindly soul. He's a perfect angel. Marinette's idealized counterpoint to how Chat Noir sees Ladybug as his mysterious and breathtaking superhero. For all intents and purposes, Marinette appreciates Adrien as this really all-around nice and well-meaning fellow. Most of their big one-on-one scenes involve Adrien playing the smiling, supportive figure. Somehow, he knows just the right thing to say to assuage Marinette's frayed nerves or quell her self-doubt. One of the big standouts is Adrien assuring Marinette that her celebrity chef uncle likes her and that he'd take inspiration from the bouquet she gave him at the beginning of his visit. There's a meaningful click between the two, if only because Marinette isn't acting starstruck and flustered as per usual. Instead, she takes stock of what Adrien said and gleans reassurance from it, ready to go watch her uncle do what he does best. Adrien's encouragement definitely appeals to Marinette since she has troubles with low self-confidence. She tends to second-guess and talk herself down to the point where she's more likely to give up half the time before pressing forward. In short, she's a worrywart. Besides Adrien's being encouraging though, He presents an easygoing, self-assured front. He comes across as fairly calm and level-headed, ready to approach fun new opportunities with an eager smile and an open-minded attitude. What happens, happens. So, Marinette is partly drawn to him for traits he has that she wants to hone and develop for herself. When Marinette entertains fantasies about Adrien, it's to the effect of finding her helpmate and being as much a supportive and compassionate companion to him as he would be for her. Adrien's being a model ties in quite conveniently with Marinette's ambitions to become a fashion designer. That just adds an extra squeal with unhinged excitement layer when Marinette watches him don her pigeon feather fedora in the episode Pigeon. Adrien has chalked up Marinette as a good friend. The same treatment and gestures he gives Marinette, he gives everyone he's on good terms with. Though, I'd argue that there's some gray area as to whether or not Adrien would entertain a romance with Marinette. He is, indeed, focused on Ladybug. But look at the almost kiss scene in The Horrificator. Either Adrien is a really convincing actor, or he doesn't mind the idea of kissing his cute and kind of shy classmate. He's a romantic sap at his core. He could appreciate and empathize with her intense, fluttery feelings. Put the Ladybug reveal somewhere before Marinette confesses, and he'd go crazy. This is, honestly, the most neutral meeting between these two. While Chat Noir does showboat and kiss Marinette's hand, it's more part of his persona and theatrics than otherwise. It's especially fun that Marinette takes stock of what kind of opportunity she has. Chat is meeting Marinette for the first time, and he probably won't meet up with her again, let alone on a consistent basis. So she cranks up the snark and sass, posing as an awestruck, enthusiastic fangirl. The performance is gloriously hammy, but Chat buys it. It may have, unintentionally, stroked his ego too. If anything, the interaction between Chat and Marinette shows the after effects of what kind of impact Chat has on Ladybug. She's definitely channeling his honorary spirit here. There's a part of her that enjoys his cavalier and can't value jokes. And really, wouldn't he relish a similar opportunity to act as a ridiculously starstruck pedestrian if he encountered Ladybug in his pedestrian form? Wink wink nudge nudge. Usually, Marinette saves this kind of ammo for friendly discussions with Alia, or deliberate potshots at Chloe. If there are any further scenes between Chat and Marinette, it may flesh out what kind of dynamic or rapport they'd have as strictly friends. Viewers would see how Chat would direct snappy one-liners, playful jabs, and bad jokes at someone on a casual basis. He'd be more open to teasing Marinette the way she teases him as Ladybug. Marinette might even playfully flirt back, just to get a rise out of the fellow. And this is where the sparks fly. Every time these two meet on screen, their gazes lock if they're not shooting longing stares at the other. Ladybug lets some of her Marinette awkwardness and fluttery feelings shine through, while Adrien blushes, touches his neck, or makes offhand comments on how pretty Ladybug is. The difference between Adrien's one-on-one encounters with Ladybug when compared to Chat is that he's a bit more vulnerable and unhinged. Behind the mask, he openly and confidently flirts. Since he views Chat as a separate, independent entity, he has more freedom and wiggle room. Not only can Chat help more people in significant respects as a superhero, but he can make up his own rules and mode of operation. He can do whatever he wants within reason, more or less. What's stopping him from flirting with Ladybug? But as Adrien, he can't quite summon that same bravado. This hints at how reserved Adrien generally is. Given the circumstances or stressors of the situation, he can have trouble expressing himself as openly as he'd like. He's so used to having to keep himself in check around his strict father. Consider that he conducts himself in a certain way to please his father. Maybe he feels similarly intimidated around Ladybug because he considers her such an important, larger-than-life figure. Even though it's obvious their feelings are mutual, Adrien still feels trapped and inadequate as Adrien. There's a reason why he derives so much pleasure from his escapist ventures as Chat Noir. On Ladybug's part, she's caught in a tug-of-war between focusing on her job and getting distracted by Adrien. The feelings are intense, enough to compromise Ladybug's morals, mission, or otherwise. Where Adrien is a fairly positive influence on Marinette, he brings out Ladybug's worst. She'd trade her Miraculous for his safety, and abuse her powers to make a point to a romantic rival. While Adrien showcases the most intense chemistry between these two, it's also the most problematic dimension in the love square. Again, it reveals some of the bigger faults and weak points about both characters. That's not really a bad thing narrative-wise, rather it proves that these two won't work successfully without taking the mask off. In conclusion, take off the mask and kiss already, damn it!